Imagine this. You've always been praised for your intelligence. People admire your sharp mind, your quick wit, and your ability to grasp complex ideas effortlessly. Society tells you intelligence is a gift, something to be proud of, something that sets you apart from the rest. But what if I told you that intelligence might actually be your greatest curse? What if being smart wasn't the key to happiness, but instead a hidden source of anxiety, dissatisfaction, and existential pain? Today we're diving deep into the profound insights of Arthur Schopenhauer, one of history's most misunderstood yet deeply insightful philosophers. Schopenhauer believed that intelligence, far from being purely beneficial, could amplify our suffering and make life harder to bear. In this video, we'll uncover Schopenhauer's hidden secret, his powerful understanding of human existence, and explore practical ways to overcome life's inherent struggles through mindfulness, compassion, and art. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why Schopenhauer thought intelligence was more burden than blessing, and you'll discover how his wisdom can help you live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Have you ever found yourself trapped in an endless loop of thought, analyzing every detail, every possibility, every consequence? Intelligent minds have a remarkable capacity for deep reflection and analysis. But this gift often comes at a steep price: chronic overthinking. Highly intelligent individuals tend to ruminate excessively. They replay conversations in their heads, second-guess their decisions, and worry constantly about potential outcomes. This relentless mental chatter leads to anxiety, stress, and emotional exhaustion. Philosopher Bertrand Russell famously captured this paradox when he said, "The trouble with the world is that the stupid are cocksure and the intelligent are full of doubt." Ironically, intelligence doesn't always translate into confidence or clarity. Sometimes it breeds uncertainty and self-doubt. Intelligent people see more deeply into life's complexities. They notice patterns others overlook. They see connections where others see randomness. This heightened awareness can be incredibly valuable, but it can also be profoundly painful. When you're highly intelligent, you're acutely aware of global issues like environmental collapse, political instability, economic inequality, or technological threats. You recognize how fragile society truly is and how limited your own power is to change it. This awareness can lead to feelings of helplessness or despair. Moreover, intelligent minds are often hypersensitive to life's inherent contradictions. They see injustice clearly. They feel the absurdity of existence more deeply. They sense the fleeting nature of happiness more acutely. In short, they suffer more intensely because they understand more profoundly. Paralysis by analysis. Another hidden curse of intelligence is something known as paralysis by analysis. Intelligent individuals often struggle with decision-making precisely because they see too many options and possibilities simultaneously. Every choice feels significant. Every decision carries weight. This tendency towards perfectionism can cause procrastination or indecision, preventing highly intelligent people from taking action on their ideas or dreams. Ironically enough, their greatest strength, their analytical mind, becomes their greatest barrier to success and fulfillment, the illusion of superiority. Finally, and perhaps most paradoxically, intelligence can create an illusionary sense of superiority or invincibility among those who possess it. Studies have shown that highly intelligent individuals sometimes make poorer life choices precisely because they're overly confident in their abilities or blind to their biases. Intelligence alone doesn't guarantee happiness. It doesn't protect you from mistakes or failures. It doesn't shield you from heartbreak or disappointment. It doesn't automatically provide meaning or fulfillment in life. In fact, it might even make these experiences harder to bear precisely because intelligent minds expect themselves never to fail, to always understand, to always succeed. In this first chapter, we've explored why intelligence, often celebrated as humanity's greatest asset, can actually become its greatest burden, causing anxiety through overthinking, amplifying existential suffering through heightened awareness, paralyzing action through excessive analysis, creating illusions about superiority that lead ultimately towards disappointment rather than fulfillment. But why does life contain so much inherent suffering anyway? And what exactly did Schopenhauer mean when he spoke about the will to live? Have you ever wondered why life seems to be an endless cycle of desires, struggles, and temporary satisfactions? Why is it that no matter how much we achieve, obtain, or experience, we still find ourselves restless, unfulfilled, and longing for more? Arthur Schopenhauer believed he had discovered the hidden secret behind this universal human condition. He called it the will to live, an unconscious force that drives every living being toward survival, desire, and constant striving. According to Schopenhauer, this will is blind, irrational, and insatiable, never allowing us lasting peace or true satisfaction. The endless cycle of desire and suffering, Schopenhauer observed that human existence is fundamentally characterized by desire. We constantly want something: money, love, success, recognition, and we convince ourselves that achieving these desires will finally bring lasting happiness. But the cruel truth Schopenhauer reveals is that each fulfilled desire quickly gives birth to another unmet one. This creates a perpetual cycle of dissatisfaction and craving. Think about your own life. Have you ever desperately wanted something, a new job, a relationship, a material possession, and believed it would finally make you happy? Yet once you obtained it, how long did your satisfaction last before new desires emerged? According to Schopenhauer, this isn't just your personal experience, it's the universal human condition. Existential suffering as a fundamental truth. Schopenhauer famously declared, "Life is suffering." He didn't mean this pessimistically or cynically. Rather, he saw suffering as an inherent part of existence itself. Because our desires are infinite, but our ability to fulfill them limited, suffering becomes inevitable. Happiness, in Schopenhauer's view, is merely a brief pause between periods of struggle or dissatisfaction. It emerges temporarily when a desire is momentarily fulfilled, but soon fades away as new cravings arise. Thus, happiness remains fleeting and elusive, a temporary illusion rather than a permanent state. Intelligence amplifies existential pain. Now here's where intelligence becomes particularly problematic. Intelligent individuals are acutely aware of this endless cycle of desire and suffering. They see clearly the futility behind their striving. They recognize the impermanence of happiness. They feel deeply the absurdity inherent in existence itself. This heightened awareness intensifies their existential pain, leading intelligent people toward despair or nihilism more easily than others who remain blissfully unaware. Intelligence doesn't shield you from life's inherent struggles, it magnifies them profoundly. But does this mean we're doomed forever to suffer under the tyranny of our desires? Or did Schopenhauer offer any way out? Indeed he did, and his answer might surprise you profoundly. If life truly consists primarily of endless striving driven by insatiable desires, is there any hope for liberation from this existential trap? Schopenhauer believed there was, and he pointed toward art as humanity's greatest refuge from suffering. For him, art wasn't merely entertainment or decoration, it was a profound spiritual practice capable of temporarily freeing us from life's relentless demands. Art is liberation from the will. According to Schopenhauer, when we engage deeply with art, whether through painting, sculpture, poetry, or theater, we momentarily transcend our individual desires and struggles. Art allows us to step outside ourselves, to observe reality objectively rather than subjectively driven by personal cravings. In these aesthetic experiences, we lose ourselves completely. We forget our worries temporarily. We escape briefly from life's burdensome demands. We glimpse universal truths beyond individual suffering. Think back on moments when you've been deeply moved by art, a painting that captivated your attention completely, poetry that spoke directly into your soul, theater performances so powerful they transported you entirely elsewhere. Didn't those moments feel like brief escapes from life's relentless pressures? Music as the highest form of art among all forms of artistic expression, however. Schopenhauer reserved special reverence for music, which he considered uniquely powerful among arts, because it directly expresses reality's deepest essence, the will itself. Unlike other arts, which represent specific objects or ideas indirectly through symbols, music communicates directly with emotions themselves without needing words or images at all. It bypasses intellect entirely, speaking straight into our hearts and souls. When listening deeply and attentively, music allows us profound emotional release without personal attachment. We experience sadness, joy, longing, despair, objectively detached yet profoundly connected, simultaneously allowing insight without personal pain, a truly transcendent experience, beyond ordinary existence, entirely. In short, for Schopenhauer, music offers humanity its purest form, liberation, temporary yet profoundly meaningful freedom from existential burdens imposed upon us daily by relentless will to live itself. But beyond art, is there another path toward liberation? Are there practical ways inspired directly by Schopenhauer's teachings to help alleviate existential suffering permanently rather than just temporarily? If art provides us with temporary glimpses beyond the endless cycle of desire and suffering, is there a way to sustain this liberation in our daily lives? Can we find lasting peace, even amidst life's inherent struggles? Schopenhauer believed that mindfulness and compassion offer powerful pathways toward a deeper, more enduring freedom, one that transcends mere intelligence and intellectual understanding. Mindfulness as temporary transcendence. Mindfulness, the practice of consciously observing one's thoughts, emotions, and experiences without judgment, resonates deeply with Schopenhauer's philosophy. Although he didn't use the modern term mindfulness, Schopenhauer emphasized the profound value of contemplation, solitude, and self-awareness as methods to detach from life's relentless demands. When you practice mindfulness regularly, you learn to observe your desires rather than immediately acting upon them. Instead of being blindly driven by the will to live, you become aware of its impulses as they arise. By simply observing these impulses without judgment or attachment, you gain clarity and emotional stability amidst life's chaos. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by anxiety or stress, only to find relief when you pause to breathe deeply and observe your thoughts quietly? That momentary pause, that mindful awareness, is precisely what Schopenhauer recognized as an essential step toward liberation from existential suffering. Compassion as essential wisdom, but mindfulness alone isn't enough. Schopenhauer also emphasized compassion, deep empathy for others, as crucial in overcoming existential pain. Compassion arises naturally. When we recognize our shared human condition, everyone suffers equally under the relentless force of the will to live. When we cultivate compassion consciously, we move beyond our ego-driven desires and connect genuinely with others' struggles. This connection reduces isolation, loneliness, and despair, common sources of existential suffering, because it reminds us we're not alone in our pain. Compassion also shifts our focus outward rather than inward. Instead of obsessing over personal dissatisfaction or unmet desires, compassionate individuals actively seek ways to alleviate others' suffering. Paradoxically enough, this outward focus often brings profound inner peace, a peace far deeper than any intellectual achievement could ever provide. Consider moments when you've helped someone else selflessly. Didn't those moments feel deeply meaningful? Didn't they temporarily quiet your own restless desires? Schopenhauer understood this truth profoundly. Genuine compassion liberates us from ourselves. Mindfulness helps us see clearly. Compassion helps us connect deeply, and together they offer powerful paths beyond mere intelligence toward true wisdom and lasting fulfillment. Chapter 5. Practical Wisdom: How to Apply Schopenhauer's Teachings. Understanding Schopenhauer's philosophy intellectually is valuable, but applying his insights practically can transform your life profoundly. Let's explore concrete steps inspired directly by his teachings that you can implement immediately to reduce existential suffering in daily life. Embrace simplicity and detachment. Schopenhauer urged us to recognize that chasing possessions or status perpetuates dissatisfaction. To break free from this cycle, limit material desires consciously. Prioritize inner peace over external validation. Embrace simplicity in lifestyle choices. Fewer possessions mean fewer attachments. Fewer attachments mean less suffering when desires inevitably remain unfulfilled. Ask yourself honestly, what possessions or achievements have truly brought lasting happiness? Simplifying your life doesn't mean deprivation, It means freedom from unnecessary burdens and greater emotional clarity. Cultivate compassion. Daily Schopenhauer saw compassion as essential wisdom, not merely moral virtue, but practical medicine against existential suffering. Regularly engage in acts of kindness toward others. Practice empathy actively through small daily gestures. Recognize shared humanity in everyone's struggles. This reduces isolation significantly. By cultivating compassion daily, you'll experience reduced anxiety about your own problems, because you'll understand deeply that everyone faces similar struggles under the will to live's relentless demands. Prioritize intellectual growth through solitude. Interestingly enough, even though Schopenhauer warned against intelligence's pitfalls, he valued solitude highly for intellectual growth. Use quiet moments intentionally for reflection. Read philosophy or literature regularly. Engage creatively through writing or artistic activities. Solitude provides space away from constant stimulation, allowing deeper self-awareness and emotional balance amidst life's chaos. Solitude doesn't mean loneliness. It means intentional time spent reconnecting with yourself beyond society's distractions and demands, a practice Schopenhauer himself valued immensely throughout his life. Now that we've explored mindfulness, compassion, simplicity, and their transformative potential, let's dive deeper into practical strategies inspired directly by Schopenhauer's teachings that you can integrate immediately into everyday life. A day inspired by Schopenhauer's wisdom. Imagine structuring your daily routine around these timeless insights. Morning, mindful reflection and simplicity. Begin each day with mindfulness meditation. Even just 10 minutes spent observing thoughts calmly sets a peaceful tone for your entire day. Reflect briefly on things you're grateful for. Gratitude counters endless craving effectively. Intentionally simplify morning routines and surroundings. Fewer distractions enable clearer thinking throughout the day. Afternoon, compassionate connection. Consciously perform at least one act of kindness daily. A simple compliment, helping someone practically, offering genuine listening presence during conversations. Remind yourself regularly, throughout the day, everyone around me struggles similarly beneath their surface appearances. This fosters empathy naturally and reduces frustration significantly. Evening, artistic immersion and emotional release. Dedicate time each evening, immersing yourself fully into aesthetic experiences. Listen attentively and deeply to music, Schopenhauer's preferred art form. Allow emotional release without personal attachment. Engage creatively through writing poetry or drawing. Even simple creative expressions liberate temporarily from existential burdens profoundly. Read literature or philosophy, not merely intellectually but emotionally, connecting deeply with universal truths beyond individual suffering. Nighttime, cultivating compassion and restful sleep. Consciously perform one compassionate act before bedtime, a kind message sent sincerely, helping someone practically, expressing appreciation genuinely. All foster deep human connection before sleep arrives peacefully afterward, naturally reducing existential anxiety overnight profoundly. By integrating these practical steps inspired directly by Schopenhauer's timeless wisdom into everyday life consistently, you'll move beyond mere intelligence toward genuine wisdom and lasting inner peace amidst life's inevitable struggles. Profoundly, Schopenhauer recognized mindfulness as a powerful tool to momentarily transcend the relentless force of the will to live. Mindfulness means consciously observing your thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment, simply allowing them to arise and pass away naturally. When you practice mindfulness, you step back from the endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction, gaining clarity about your inner world and emotional reactions. Consider this: when you're caught in worry or anxiety, isn't it because you're deeply attached to outcomes or expectations? Mindfulness teaches you to detach from these attachments, helping you see clearly that your suffering often arises from your own mind's restless cravings. By cultivating mindful awareness each day, even for just a few minutes, you gradually learn to observe life's struggles without becoming overwhelmed by them. This is true wisdom beyond mere intelligence, the ability to witness existence objectively, calmly, and compassionately. Compassion. As essential wisdom for Schopenhauer, compassion wasn't merely a moral virtue. It was a profound existential insight, He believed compassion arises naturally. When we recognize our shared human condition, everyone suffers equally under the will to live. Understanding this truth deeply leads us toward empathy and kindness, because we realize we're all united in our common struggle against life's inherent suffering. When you actively practice compassion, through small daily gestures of kindness, you break free from ego-driven desires and isolation. You begin to see others not as competitors or threats, but as fellow travelers on life's difficult journey. Compassion reduces your own suffering by shifting your focus away from endless personal cravings toward meaningful connections with others. Schopenhauer famously said, "Compassion is the basis of morality, but it's also a powerful antidote to existential despair." By cultivating compassion consciously each day, through acts of kindness, empathy, and genuine human connection, you discover a deeper purpose beyond mere intellectual achievement or personal success. You move beyond intelligence toward true wisdom, understanding deeply that everyone shares the same fundamental struggle against life's inherent suffering. Now that we've explored Schopenhauer's profound insights into existence, the relentless will to live, the liberating power of art, mindfulness, and compassion, let's discuss practical ways you can integrate these teachings into your everyday life. Embrace simplicity and detachment. Schopenhauer urged us to simplify our lives consciously, to detach ourselves from unnecessary desires and external validation. Here's how you can practically do this. Reduce material attachments, regularly reflect on what truly matters in life, consciously limit unnecessary material possessions that only feed dissatisfaction. Prioritize inner peace, choose activities that nourish your inner self rather than seeking external validation through status or wealth. Practice acceptance, recognize that many things are beyond your control. Cultivate acceptance rather than resistance toward life's inevitable challenges. Cultivate compassion. Daily compassion is central in Schopenhauer's philosophy as an antidote to existential suffering. Perform small acts of kindness. Each day, consciously perform at least one selfless act, helping someone in need, offering genuine encouragement or appreciation, to strengthen connections with others. Develop empathy. Regularly remind yourself of our shared human condition. Everyone faces struggles similar to your own. Reduce egocentric thinking. Shift perspective regularly by asking yourself how others might feel or experience situations differently from you. Prioritize intellectual growth through solitude. Schopenhauer greatly valued solitude, not as isolation but as intentional time dedicated to reflection and intellectual growth. Schedule quiet reflection time. Set aside daily periods free from distractions, social media, technology, for reading philosophy or literature. Engage in journaling. Regularly write down reflections about life experiences. Journaling helps clarify thoughts objectively without excessive rumination. Creative expression. Use solitude creatively. Write poetry or essays exploring philosophical themes important to you personally. Draw or paint freely without judgment. Integrate art into daily life. Art provides temporary liberation from existential burdens, according to Schopenhauer. Regularly immerse yourself fully into aesthetic experiences. Visit museums or galleries frequently. Appreciate nature deeply during walks outdoors. Listen attentively and intentionally each day to music, Schopenhauer's highest form of art. Allow emotional release subjectively without personal attachment. Create art yourself. Even simple creative acts offer profound emotional relief and temporary freedom from life's relentless demands. Throughout this journey, we've explored a powerful yet often overlooked truth. Intelligence, despite society's praise, can sometimes amplify our existential suffering. Arthur Schopenhauer, with his profound insights into the human condition, revealed that our ceaseless desires, driven by the relentless will to live, trap us in cycles of dissatisfaction and pain. Intelligence alone doesn't free us from this cycle. Instead, it can intensify our awareness of life's inherent struggles. But Schopenhauer didn't leave us without hope. He illuminated pathways toward liberation through art, mindfulness, compassion, and practical wisdom. Art allows us temporary transcendence from life's burdens. Mindfulness helps us observe our desires without becoming enslaved by them. Compassion connects us deeply with others, dissolving isolation and ego-driven suffering. Simplicity and solitude provide clarity and emotional stability amidst life's chaos. By consciously integrating these teachings into your daily life, immersing yourself in art regularly, practicing mindfulness, consistently cultivating genuine compassion toward others daily, you move beyond mere intellectual understanding toward true wisdom. You discover deeper fulfillment beyond intelligence alone, a peace rooted not in external achievements but in inner liberation from endless craving. Schopenhauer's hidden secret isn't meant to lead you into despair or pessimism. Rather, it's a profound invitation toward authentic freedom. Understanding life's inherent struggles empowers you to face them courageously, with equanimity rather than anxiety, with compassion rather than isolation, with wisdom rather than mere intellect. So embrace Schopenhauer's timeless wisdom fully. Let it guide you gently toward a more meaningful existence beyond intelligence alone. Remember always, true happiness isn't found by endlessly chasing desires, but by consciously transcending them through mindful awareness, compassionate connection, artistic immersion, and practical simplicity.